Is this real failure? Because we have reported it as a massive failure given the previous results that we've seen. So is this real failure, or is this just where we are?
Let me call it shocking failure. Not sure whether it is real failure, because when you look at the distribution, normally you'd expect that we had also 141 E's. So that we have extremes, few at the extremes, and many concentrated. But then when you look at the numbers, anyone who got a D+ is actually above the 50% of the candidates, which is truly shocking how so many students can fail. So it can either be a product of the irregularities that have been happening in the past, or changes may be in the difficulty of the 2016 examination. Whichever of these is, I think at the moment is difficult to tell. An audit may be necessary on both the validity of the test that was presented in 2016, but also in the extent of cheating that have been happening in the past, as we also try to hold those that were responsible for the cheating in the past to account.
So you're saying that there's probable cause that this exam was significantly harder than previous KCSEs?
I'm saying we don't know.
We don't know yet.
It is a possibility.
Okay.
I think looking at, because one would have expected ordinarily that the scores would be normal, that many of the students will be around a C, and as you move to both extremes, they reduce. But now this is what is called extremely skewed scores, and I am sure that the ministry and NEC are concerned and will be looking into these presentations.
But if it is actually as a result of zero cheating that the exams were in fact secured, then what does that mean about previous KCSE papers and the kind of systemic theft of that examination?
Actually, before theft, it would be a very serious quality issue, because how can we have so many students failing? Then it means that very little learning is happening. But then when you look even at where I would expect that even without cheating, Alliance High School cannot have so few A's, knowing how much favored they are from the selection of students, from the resourcing that is happening at Alliance High School, the kind of teachers, the esteem, the culture. So the fact that Alliance High School only had 14 A's is a big worry, because where are the resources going into? And what is this telling us about the cream of the nation, because they have the advantage of selecting the best. So it would raise actually first a very serious quality concern. Is there any learning happening? But then how can this also be so drastic? So if these results are true, then it means that then there was a lot of rot in the past. And as you say, one would ask, where are these then graduates that were probably
the result of that
result of
rot,
cheating?
yes.
And the rot is in twofold. First is in the denying the job market the quality, the skills, because we posted people probably into the wrong courses, and which means the state wasted resources, because there must have then have been massive dropouts because they could not cope, or even if they sailed through, then they were not as skilled as one would expect. But the other is the value issue. What have we taught now these generations? That it is okay, you can make it through cheating. So this, I think, devaluation of the society is a serious issue in terms of Kenya's future, and how decisions are going to be made in governance in the future.
But if you look at even allocation of resources by government in terms of upgrading polytechnics and other such technical institutions, if you like, to university status, because there was this unreal pool of the best and the brightest going there. What does this mean for government plans? Is it time to halt that? Do we need to return investment into strengthening polytechnics to get that middle caliber of students, if you like, getting the right skilled training that they need to enter the job market?
Yeah, for sure. When you look at now the unemployment rates, it tells us we have made the wrong decisions in terms of investing. that we have over-glorified these white-collar courses at the expense of what Kenya requires so much for it to industrialize the middle-level skills. So restoring that balance is a critical priority for the country. But then at the same time, tapping this from the source of the tap, because even if we mopped the floor while the tap is still running, then you're not fixing the problem. So going now to those candidates that are now going to join university, how do we ensure that we channel them into the right courses so that we make the right investments for Kenya's industrialization and growth?
Which is leads me to my next question, because universities were, if you like, expanded. They expanded capacity because you were expecting a certain quota, if you like, of bright students. But now with about, was it 15% of all students just managing to make that pass grade to university, what can universities do in order to meet the threshold, if you like, in order for these courses to be viable? Should they be considering perhaps lowering the entry grade for some of these courses, or what's the best course?
The assumption we have is that talent and gifts are randomly distributed across ages. So I don't think it would mean that the cohort of 2016 is less talented or less gifted than those that have gone before. So which means that if where the C falls now and where the C minus falls, is possible that those ones in C minus and C would be as good when they face now the middle-level colleges. So I think it is, we have 88,000 who have qualified to go straight to the university. But then we have all these other huge numbers that we must deal with as a country. We cannot wish them away because they are the majority. I mean, 574,000 minus 88,000. We are talking about a bulk of youth that we have to deal with, even when they cannot go to the university. And so revamping TVET, I think the ministry is steadfast in terms of resourcing middle-level colleges. And I think absorbing now this bulk of students in the middle-level colleges is a very strategic decision for us to make.
Finally, is there a degree of criminal liability for schools that will have been found to have recorded such shockingly different results in this particular KCSE, indicative of perhaps cheating previously, and what course of action can government take?
It could go either way. But I think, as you say, accountability is critical. If there is such a drastic drop, then an audit is necessary to check what happened. Was there less teaching and learning? Or maybe the teachers had perfected the art of teaching to the test, which we know is what was happening, drilling students to pass examinations, because they know questions are asked in a certain way, testing will come in a certain way, and there were those teachers and schools that had really perfected that, even without the cheating element, such that if now questions were stated in any other way, then they really disorganized the thought processes of the students. But then the other possibility is that there has been cheating in the history, in the upstream history, and that I think Kenyans require explanation, because we are talking about parents who thought their children would get an A. We have seen students who are saying, I thought I would get an A, and I think that is justified, because how can we only have 141 A's nationally, and knowing how much learning happens in some of these schools? So this audit, I think, is necessary. We need to hear what is happening, and I'm sure Dr. Matiang'i and the team are on top of this.
Dr. Mugo, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We're taking a short break on Citizen Weekend. We're back with more news after this. Stay with us.